prime rib is the perfect Christmas feast. It's like extravagant, but it's often expensive. So you want to make sure you do it right. Nichole Daily from Traeger Grills is showing us how to do that. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's been smelling so great all
like
the
Christmas,
morning.
doesn't
I know, it smells like, okay, so you're saying this is like a foolproof, flavorful way to have Christmas.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people get really intimidated by a prime rib, and it is intimidating. It's an expensive cut, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's super easy to prepare, and with the help of a meter and Traeger, it's even easier. So what we start with here is this is a 3-bone rib roast. And your butcher can do this for you if you want, but it's not that hard to do it at home if you'd like.
So that's what we're asking the butcher for. Okay.
Yep, you can get a standing rib roast, you can get a boneless, or you can get it with the bones cut off like this and trussed back on. I like to do this because it's a big piece of meat, and I want to season in here as much as I can for all that flavor. So what we're gonna do...
So you're gonna cut a little slice off and then season the inside too.
Exactly, and we're gonna do some of our Traeger Prime Rib Rub, and then on top of that, we're gonna take some of these fresh whole herbs and kind of fold them inside.
I think most people don't think of just throwing whole herbs in there.
Yeah, I love this part and this approach to this with taking the bones off and tucking some things in here to make it even more flavorful. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this back on. And we're gonna take some twine here.
And just tie that right up.
And we're just gonna tie it right back on. Super easy.
You seasoned the whole outside as well.
Yep, so the outside is seasoned. There's an additional step that you can do if you've got the time or you got the space. You can season it the day before and let it sit in your fridge overnight. It's almost like a quick cure.
Okay,
and it really helps. Yeah, it helps to give it that nice crust on the outside. It pulls some of that moisture out so you get a really nice crunchy texture on the outside, which I know some people really love.
I do. I love that crunchy part.
It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part.
Let's talk timeline. So you said we could do this the night before, but if we're going to do a day of, how many hours do we need to set aside?
So if you want to do it day of, you can really just skip that salt step. Just season with salt and your other rub a couple hours before you're going to cook it, just to let it sit and kind of marry as much as it can. This is going to be, depending on the size of your roast, a 3 to 4 hour cook. But again, we're going to use the meter with this one. The great thing about that, it will link to the app, and it monitors both the ambient and internal temperature of what's going on in your grill, what's going on inside the roast, and it'll tell you when it's at that target temperature. And it'll ping you, tell you when to pull it off, when it's ready to go.
Okay, so is this something that's included in your grill? But for people who maybe don't have that, could they use? Oh,
so
no,
this is a meter.
What we're using. Okay,
yep. You can find them
for non-smoker people. You got to explain.
So this can be used in various different ways. You can use it in a grill. You can use it in an oven. You can use it to deep fry. So it's not specific to this, but it's a great tool that we use at Traeger all the time.
I have seen these. So, and you like to shove it right in the side?
Yeah, so you want to get the tip of it to the center. And so you want to shove it right in the side to make sure you're right at that middle point. Now, our last step before we throw this on is kind of a weird one, but just trust me on this.
I'm trusting.
This is a mixture of Dijon, a little bit of mayonnaise, and Worcestershire.
Yum.
You smother the whole thing in this sauce, and it really helps to create this nice crust. I know it's something that a lot of people will do with turkey at the holidays. It gives it such a beautiful crust.
And you're official using the gloves. This makes me go, why aren't I always using gloves? Because even at home, I think it's a good idea.
I think sometimes it's super helpful, just especially for messy steps like these. You can just take them off and keep moving.
And is this what you do right before you stick it in?
Yep.
Okay.
So you do this. It doesn't need to sit for any time. It can go right on the grill after this. But you want to make sure you get it
all over.
Every little spot.
Okay, now through the magic of TV, we're going to show what happens after all of those hours because, ta-da, we've brought our own grill. And so after those 4 or 5 hours that you mentioned, we're going to get, can I be the revealer?
Yes, of course.
Oh, it's heavy.
It's heavy.
Boom. Look at that with the crust It's actually still warm in here. And you put this on a bed of vegetables.
So we're gonna put some mirepoix, which is just carrot, celery, onion, and some garlic in the bottom of this.
Yeah.
You wanna just let it braise kind of in those juices and on top. About halfway through, you're gonna add a little bit of stock and some Worcestershire, and that's gonna be your jus that you're gonna serve it with.
Yes, the best part.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna bring this over and
scoop this.
And after we have it in there for several hours, are the veggies that you put underneath anything we're going to be actually eating later? Is that just more for the flavor?
I like to nibble on them sometime in the kitchen. Those little bits of garlic are like, they just melt in your mouth and they're so good.
Okay, we have just a few minutes left.
But
so
you can strain them out.
Me how you, is this, we're gonna cut into it now?
Yes, ma'am. So you'll strain that out and that's gonna be your jus.
Right here, delish.
From here, you just cut that twine off. Ooh. And there's our bones. And don't throw these away, there's a lot of meat on them. It's a great little snack. And then the great thing about prime rib, I think, is a lot of people will cook it to mid-rare, which is fantastic. But if you've got other people that like more of a medium or a mid-well, these edge pieces are closer to that temperature, so you've really got something for everyone.
And then you like to serve this with a horseradish, which is very
Yes.
Do you have a special mix?
So we do a mix of horseradish, sour cream, and mayonnaise. So we'll just show the center of that guy right there. It's gorgeous.
It looks fantastic. So, I mean, anyone who's thinking of smoking this, we can get some inspiration from you guys. From your website, you've got some things on there for us.
Yeah, so the grill isn't just for meats. You can do rolls, any of your sides, things like that, but there's thousands of recipes on TraegerGrills.com and on our Traeger app.
Okay, thank you so much for showing us how. Now we just got to tackle it. Thanks.
Yeah, good luck.